This is Hawaii Matters, a talk story with friends and neighbors living, working, and helping in the 808, part of Pacific Media Group. I'm your host, Kathy with a K. Our guest is Sanoe Marfil, CEO of the Institute for Native Pacific Education and Culture, or the acronym INPEACE. Established in 1994, their mission has centered on community and culture-based education. Their offices are in Kapolei, and they've also expanded. We'll be hearing more about that. It is 2025. Sanoe Marfil, as CEO of INPEACE, can you talk about 2006? I understand that's when you first participated with an INPEACE program as a parent. But first, how did you hear about INPEACE?
Me getting to INPEACE was really through my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is a teacher within the Department of Education schools, and she was home with my daughter. I was at the time working in the medical field. I wanted to be a nurse after high school, and I thought try and go into nursing and become a nurse's aide. So I was doing that work. She was watching my baby, and she had fell upon Keiki Steps. She saw an ad for Keiki Steps, which is our family child interactive preschool program. Came home and she said, hey, you should take baby to Keiki Steps, because my shift was at night. So I had the morning time to be with her. The program was ending because they follow the same schedule as the schools. And so they were ending. But when school was to start again, that is when I took my daughter to Keiki Steps at the Nanakuli elementary site. And the rest is history.
Firsthand, you really enjoyed it. You saw that your child was really getting something out of it too. When you became part of INPEACE, what was that experience like to where you've worked your way through since 2006 to now? What are some of the roles and responsibilities as CEO of INPEACE?
Well, I think as a parent, right, my role is to be my child's first and best teacher, right? I know my child best. And so I got really involved with Keiki Steps as a parent. I used to order the books for all the sites across the board of scholastic books, and I just got very involved. That's when the current site coordinator had asked me if I was interested in a position. Right before that, I had quit my job in the medical field and just took a job at the elementary school as an account clerk. And I was a permanent state worker. And so
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a good gig.
I know. So, to get an offer to work for a nonprofit was a little scary. And my husband was a permanent city. And so he had a plan for us, right? It was like state and city workers were good to go for the future. But I really wanted to stay with my daughter, to be in that space. And so I took a leap of faith and I came over to INPEACE. I started off really with an initiative to see where children are reading, and then to make sure that we're assessing that piece within the state, right? It was a state initiative, and to help kids to read at third grade, reading level at third grade. And so that was kind of my first gig at INPEACE. And my background is in Hawaiian culture-based education. I got my degree in that. And so when an opportunity opened itself for Kupu'ola, our outdoor classroom program, I was able to move to that position. And I stayed there for about, I want to say 8 years, maybe. I'm not exactly sure if that's correct. And then another opportunity presented itself to become the program director for our Kalama Education Academy program, which is really our Grow Your Own Teacher program, looking for individuals who are interested in becoming teachers or current employees who want to up their credentials. After that opportunity, the CEO at the time had asked if I wanted to pursue the Chief Program Officer position, which really meant to oversee all of our programs and projects within the organization. For me, it was an opportunity to work hand in hand with our programs and really just continue the impact that we've been making in community for 30 years. And so, and at that time, it was even less. I think we were like at 28 when I moved. The previous CEO and myself actually worked together to do a succession plan because she was ready to leave. And so here we are today as a chief executive officer.
This is Hawaii Matters, Pacific Media Group, and we are talking with Sanoe Marfil, CEO of INPEACE, offices in Kapolei, as well as expanded to Nanakuli. I'm your host, Kathy with a K. There was another piece to the original trifecta of programs. I understand Kira Downing had shared in an email that there are 11 programs, but there are 3 that are kind of the foundation of them all. Can you speak more about Spark, supporting partnerships to assure ready kids, grassroots effort to help children prepare for school and schools to prepare for children? Of course, it's that back and forth partnership dynamic. So now, can you talk more about that?
Yeah, Spark was really how I got to INPEACE, right? When I got to INPEACE, that was the work that we were doing. So it was really about getting to understand where our children were at in terms of education, as well as building the community, the collaboration, the partnership piece. And so INPEACE, I wasn't really affiliated with that piece, but INPEACE really worked hard to bring all the partners to the table to have conversations about the education of our kids, of our children. And so INPEACE's role as facilitator was really important to this Spark initiative. And my role really on the back end to kind of assess some of the kids helped me to build that relationship within community, because my focus area was in Waianae. And so that's the role that I played in this initiative particularly.
Sanoe, can you talk more about the expansion in Nanakuli? It was a former Kaiser Permanente clinic. It was also noted over the past 30 years of INPEACE being on the west side, yet servicing all of the state. There were over a dozen moves since its inception.
Absolutely.
What is that space primarily for, or growing into, or what's the dream?
We are so excited, right? 31 years within the state of Hawaii, in the community of Waianae, and we have a permanent place to call our home. And so, yes, like you mentioned, we've moved 16 times. We've been in different spaces, but our site called Hale Onane Keola is really our place to bring our community to. It's our INPEACE's community hub. It'll allow us to have all of our programs there. It'll allow us to have access to community, and for community to have access to us, because we are on a bus line, right? We are right there on Farrington Highway. It gives opportunities for families to see even the name. If they don't know what it is that we do, they can come in and they can ask questions and maybe seek different opportunities if they need them.
Of the programs, how do Native Hawaiian children and their parents or guardians, how do they become involved? Is it by age, by interest? Do they need a sponsor? I guess there's so many ways. You said you yourself so many seasons ago was your mother-in-law who was just like, Sanoe, I know things, try it out. And
Yes.
It was like great.
It's exactly that, right? We live in Hawaii. Yeah. The coconut wireless is real. And so people tell other people, I've went to this program, or I know this person, or I've done this. And so that has helped. Also, INPEACE has recognized that people in Waianae know us, but people in the state of Hawaii might not. And so we've been kind of trying to strategically be more on the radio, in the media, share our story. It's 30 years of great work, impacts in community. And so that is really, I think, our next leap is to be more out there and to tell our story.
You spoke on 3 of the foundational programs of INPEACE. Sanoe, can you talk about the INPEACE programs that most interest you right now, and which INPEACE programs surprise new clients or participants?
Yeah, I don't know that I have one favorite program. I think all of the programs do tremendous work for the people that need that service particularly. But for me, I think the one thing that is exciting, that is new to INPEACE, or two things. So one is really our Kaulele program. It's a STEM science traveling exhibit. We've just received our 4th exhibit. We have 3 The first is on Kapa, the second is on Kaulana Mahina, and the third is on Lokoi'a. And our fourth one that we just got the beginning of May is on Lawai'a. And so we will be launching that in June at Kamakana Li'i. And that program excites me because it gives teachers an opportunity to see Hawaiian culture-based education, to see Hawaiian cultural practices in a kind of exhibit form, right? Which then might help them to get ideas to take back into their classroom. It gives children an opportunity to interact with those exhibits. And sometimes some children don't have the opportunity. And so we have really big microscopes. Some kids have never seen a microscope. And so it just gives opportunity. And the second would be our Center for Entrepreneurship. We know a lot of folks who are doing entrepreneurship programs, and ours is unique in the way in which our staff nurtures these entrepreneurs, right? It's such a big task. It might be scary sometimes. And so what we try to do is meet them where they're at and help them along the process, whatever process that might be. And for some, they take a pause. They're like, no, I can't do this now. And so we wait and we follow up again. And so I think those two programs are exciting, and they provide this opportunity for partnerships. That's what we'd like to do at INPEACE too, is to create all these partnerships.
We're talking with Sanoe Marfil, CEO of INPEACE. Offices in Kapolei, a new expansive area, growing programs in Nanakuli. Native Hawaiian families take part in INPEACE events and programs. How can they see if they're qualified? Is there a wait list? There's like X amount of people to really properly assist and educate the keiki and the parent. Can you talk more on that?
Absolutely. So when families come to us, there is no wait list. We are there to help families to see what the needs are. I think every different program within our organization has different parameters. So when we look at our early childhood education programming, right, those babies have to be 0 to 5 if you're wanting that assistance. If you are wanting to become an entrepreneur, that's a wide range of ages. If you're wanting to become a homeowner, our financial literacy workshops, those kinds of things, that's a wide range of ages. And so we don't necessarily have a waiting list. We do encourage folks to call us. And if we are not the right fit for families, we are able to share information about other organizations so that they might go to another organization, most likely a partner organization that we always partner with.
Is there a website for INPEACE?
Yes, our website is www.inpeace.org.
This is Hawaii Matters. I'm Kathy with a K, talking with Sanoe Marfil of INPEACE. Offices in Kapolei and also expanded in Nanakuli. Moves, some 16 moves in 30 plus years, now a permanent home. Can you talk more about the Nanakuli campus?
Absolutely. The vision has always been to find a home. And so we have finally found a home. When we were talking about it within our kind of leadership team, we realized that it wasn't just us that was looking for a home. We created a strategic plan with all of our staff across of all of the islands, because we have staff on Hawaii Island, Kauai, as well as Molokai. Together, what was identified was a home. And so when that came to fruition, we knew that we wanted to focus on that. The idea is that INPEACE has a permanent presence in community. On the bus line on Farrington Highway, where folks can see us, we will bring all of our programs to that space so that folks can have access to INPEACE at any given time. We're looking at partnerships. We're looking at collaborations to bring community to not only serve as an INPEACE community hub, but really a community hub for the coast.
Sanoe, you're talking about partners and staff across the islands here in Hawaii, while the main hub, again, is based in Kapolei, a campus, rather, in Nanakuli. Can you talk about the participation and the the brain power from the neighbor islands. Is there an annual get-together? How are you able to gather up and meet and hug and talk face-to-face?
We call it a INPEACE retreat. And so we gather as an organization. We've traveled to Hawaii Island to do it. They've traveled here to Oahu. Depending on the program in which these employees work for, right? They sometimes come here maybe once a quarter, twice a quarter. We travel to the different islands to kind of work with our staff and be present and help in any way that we can. But as an organization, we do the once a year, as well as monthly virtual professional development workshops. And so we are lucky to have Dr. Kukahakalau on staff every month. She does provide for us a professional development course around Hawaiian culture-based education and just Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian language. That opportunity to see everybody on the screen and kind of a quick chat on the side is really helpful for the organization to operate when we're trying to continue to build relationships in everything that we do.
If you want to talk about existing partnerships.
Absolutely. I think across the state, right, when COVID happened, we all had to kind of shift and get creative. All of our programs went virtual. We created online spaces where we could work with families and partner with them. So now, today, we still have sites that are virtual. We still can do workshops that are virtual. And so it just kind of depends on the needs of the partners. Many of our partners, like Kamehameha Schools, like the Department of Education, Partners in Development, Keikio Ka'aina, these individuals, we collaborate on a regular basis to just kind of continue the work and the education for our keiki. It's really exciting to see currently our Keiki Steps program online, because for families who are not comfortable with going in person to a site, they can still educate their child through a virtual option. So that's, I think, the beauty that we've been able to see. The other thing is that we've gotten creative in that program in Keiki Steps, because before, Keiki Steps used to be created at the Department of Education schools. And we would build that partnership so that the kids who are at Keiki Steps would then go into the school and kindergarten, that routines would be fairly easy for them. But what we realized is that a lot of the schools after COVID, they needed those spaces back.
Okay.
And so we needed to shift. And so when we shift, we went back into community centers. We went back into just kind of Hawaiian communities that have a park or, something available. We also will be building a site at our new hub, at the new Nanakuli site. So we will have a Keiki Steps program there as well.
Sanoe Marfil of INPEACE, do you have a special message for our listeners today?
Yes. I will say that the Institute for Native Pacific Education and Culture welcomes you to our new hale. Please come. Please introduce yourselves. Reach out to us. Just connect with us.
And if it's been a while, come by and say hi. Thank you, Sanoe Marfil of INPEACE, the Institute for Native Pacific Education and Culture. For a replay or to share this episode, search Hawaii Matters where you listen to podcasts and at this radio station's website. For Pacific Media Group, I'm your host, Kathy with a K. Mahalo.